inevitable.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
I'm totally Batman.
Oh, man.
Shh. Communing with the earth spirits.
Welcome to California, bud.
Cowabunga.
And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. This week, we're talking about Warner Brothers Studios, their ownership, and the DC universe below them, and what's going on. I don't know. We'll find out. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey, guys, this is Prague.
Everything's fine. This is Alexander Wolfgang. What's up, fellas?
Or is everything fine?
Is everything fine? I feel like it is. I'm feeling good right now. Am I feeling good? I don't know. Our pre-show didn't say that I was feeling good, but I'm feeling good now. Now that we hit the record button, all people need to know is that I'm good.
Nice. Well, Warner Brothers is not so well, but we'll be talking about that today. There's a lot going on at this company right now, and we're here to discuss it.
All right. It's not breaking news?
No, I said it's all breaking down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, the breaking news happened a while ago, and now it's more... Imagine if there was a fire, and then it's been put out, and there's just like the rubble. You know, you see those towns where the whole town got burned down, and now it's just kind of like smoking, and there's like ash and stuff. That's where we're at. We're on the
But every
scene
day
live.
we keep discovering like new places that have been burnt down. It's like, oh, today is this franchise, and now this show, and now this whole content of stuff, and yeah. So.
I mean, there's got to be like one shining light out of all of the DC stuff.
It's not the shining light. It's more, it's more all the lights that went out.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
they snuffed out a lot of lights. So,
well, I have a feeling I'm going to be learning just like our listeners about what's going on.
So the tough part is where to start. So I think the biggest thing is kind of to put this in perspective.
Yeah.
Discovery bought essentially Warner Brothers last year. Yeah. And
roughly, yeah.
In doing so, they have their own brand. You know, there's Discovery Plus. It's a lot of like, you know, HGTV and Food Network and all those types of like kind of more reality competitions and just more real world stuff. And so with Warner Brothers, it's more fantasy fare, whether it's DC, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, it's fantasy stuff. And so they're trying to merge those two ideas together to have one kind of service. But in doing so, they do what they know. And a lot of the stuff they know doesn't cost much to produce. And so Warner Brothers stuff costs a lot to produce. And they're balancing that mainly because they've said projections for this year, just how much it costs for theatrical releases. Warner Brothers is only going to release 2 movies the rest of the year. Like we're heading into September, and they're going to release Black Adam and one other movie that I've never heard of before. That's not the biggest scale, but that's it. That's all they're doing because they've canceled or cut everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at.
It's like they're trying to mix water and oil, and it's not going to work. And I think they know that, and they're fine with it, and they don't care because they just want to make money cheap. Mm-hmm. That's it. The days of like grandiose HBO programming is over. Goodbye. Goodbye,
really?
Great Warner Brother movies. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this guy who took over, he is the guy who will do nothing but those HGTV quick and dirty type of makeover shows. And what was it, the Chip and whatever his wife's name is, their shows, like that kind of stuff.
Chip and Joanna
he's after
Gaines.
Yeah, he's after middle America. That's what he's after. He doesn't care about quality, doesn't care about fantasy or creative writing or quality anything. So
that costs money.
That does. It costs money. He doesn't care. He just wants to make as much money for as cheap as possible because it's worked for him. It's worked very well. I mean, there's been days where I have, you know, sat there and watched like, you know, a bunch of those kind of episodes all in a row because there was nothing else on. So I'm guilty of that.
I sometimes love it. I'm guilty
That's
too,
the way it
man.
is, right?
Yeah.
Something
Some days
about
you need
house
that
hunters.
stuff. Yeah.
Right,
House
but you
Hunters
don't need that all the
International?
time. You know, sometimes I want my meat. So
You-
uh, you're not gonna get the meat anymore. So I guess there is one shining light that I can think of, because you did mention that, and that is they did renew House of the Dragon, which I was surprised. I was like, I thought maybe that was going to be the next to go, but I guess they realized that is making them so much money, it's ridiculous. So it's fine. It also
So-
costs them a lot of money though.
Yeah. And we'll talk about House of the Dragon as a standalone podcast as the show kind of picks up. But it's worth noting, here we are on August 29th, and the second episode actually had more viewers than the first. So word of mouth seems to be good, because we know where Game of Thrones started going into this spin-off series.
Right. Yeah, it was like dead in the water.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So
So
they latched onto that. They renewed it. That's one good thing. But everything else has been cut dry. Now, the first thing, this is the thing that kind of really broke the news. Like,
Yeah.
people already knew that Discovery was here, but as soon as they canceled Batgirl, and they said that not only were they canceling it, but they were going to destroy the film, like burn it,
Mhm.
have no record of it ever
Whoa!
being made, and have it be a
What?
lost film. That's what blew up the internet. Everyone started paying attention. So that's when all
Oh
the
my
DC
God.
fanboys came out of the woodwork. Like, wait a second, is everything else okay? Like, what about the Batman stuff that they've been doing? What about Shazam? What about, the Flash, and this resurgence of the Snyderverse? Yeah, that's mostly all dead. We'll see how
Wow.
things go, but
But yeah, Batgirl, they're going to take a $90 million loss to not release it.
for tax purposes.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? That's bonkers.
Especially
I
because
think it was-
Batgirl has built-in name recognition. It's not like they're trying
Yeah.
to launch a character that no one, like, what character is this?
Exactly.
Maybe they
It is
saw
strange.
it and they were like, "This is garbage."
Even if it's hot garbage, I think it could have made back its investment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that's what
I
I've been
agree.
hearing, is a lot of people were saying that they didn't like the cut of the film, but still, like, you want to make some money back on that, and it probably would have made a decent amount of money. Maybe not like, big bucks, but enough that they shouldn't have killed it, in my opinion. So
That is
It-
wild. Wow.
It fits within the greater scheme of the DC universe, just because they ran before they walked or even crawled, because they had to catch up to Marvel, and that blew up in their face. And so then they're like, we're going to do these standalone movies, and they released The Joker, which did critical and box office success. It made over $1 billion. A bunch of people loved it. And then they released The Batman this year. Again, same exact thing as The Joker, critical and box office success. So they're like, we're going to do these standalone things that aren't interconnected. We have popular characters, and we can do stories within these characters. And then we haven't heard much at all about what they were doing. And then they announced that they were going to make Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role, and then having Lady Gaga be Harley Quinn. And that got excitement. And then the next thing we hear is that they're not doing, or it's on hold, that they were going to do that DC, or Batman Gotham City police force. And then Batgirl got canceled. So I don't even know if we're still going to get these standalone ideas and exploring stories within Gotham anymore.
I mean, the only thing that I know that I've heard is that Matt Reeves was pretty unsure a few weeks ago, but then recently was told that he got a first look deal with them, which to me doesn't sound too promising. I mean, it's fine if he gets the first look deal, but they could easily just be like, yeah, we don't like it. Go send it off to somewhere else. So, and who knows if the other studio that he flees to gives him the money. So,
Wow. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to be learning a lot today. This is wild.
it's wild. It's been a wild few weeks. That's for sure. It's
Unbelievable.
A lot to
I
take
mean,
in.
That's all like money, like budgetary change of ownership constraints. There's also the very real, the Flash problem, which doesn't have to deal with money. It has to deal with the main character or the actor who's having his own thing that has nothing to do with money going on.
He's having his own adventures. Yeah. Misadventures.
Yeah, that guy is being a big old turd, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So all I've heard is that he's being a turd. I don't actually know exactly what he's doing.
It's
What-
hard
what
to
is
keep up.
happening right
Every day is a new thing. Like every day I wake up and it's like, oh, so he's
because
now
they're-
in this state or in this
yeah, they're
country.
coming back with like backstories, kind of what they're kind of piecing together what he's doing. But
Like at one
It's
point, I
tough
think he had a
for-
compound. Like I don't. It was weird. Some James.
it's
Jones
tough to
stuff
release a
going on.
movie with someone unhinged kind of
Mhm.
leading a press tour or being the face of any kind of franchise.
Especially one that was supposed to be a big deal. I mean, it was going to be Flashpoint. It was going to be a big turning point for the DCEU, and maybe that's not going to happen now at all.
Well, why
don't
wouldn't
know.
they just use the Flash from the TV show?
So-
Everybody liked that guy.
They have three choices. They can release the movie as is with Ezra Miller. They can take Ezra Miller out and put in the guy from the TV series instead, or at least have Ezra Miller die. They use the Flashpoint storyline. They somehow, use a multiversal ideal to switch out the Flash at the very end.
Wow,
Or they
I'm
shelf
on
it completely.
WGN.
Yeah.
That's their three choices.
I mean, at this point, I
Supposedly
think
it's a good movie. That's all I've heard. That everyone's really impressed by
Yeah.
the movie itself.
they're in a pickle with this one for sure. And I don't know what the end result is to Flashpoint for them. Like, I don't know if that really was going to set up the new DCEU or not, or if they're at the point now where they're just like, well, let's just can everything and start over. But I doubt it because they still are going to be doing Aquaman 2 and Black Adam and Shazam 2. So
Aquaman was like a failure. What would be the point?
it made enough
If they're
money, I
looking to make
guess.
money,
No, it made
that's-
money.
It did make okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, it did. So I don't know. That's the same universe, and it got pushed back again. So they did push.
Yeah,
that
no,
back.
they said that Ben Affleck is going to reprise his role as Batman in Aquaman too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Ben Affleck
Yeah,
and
that's
Robert Pattinson are going to be Batman at the same time,
Yes, they
at
are.
least in theatrical releases.
Alternate
So it's-
universes.
It's all just a whole lot of confusing stuff happening right now.
They're just
man.
throwing anything at the wall. And
Yeah, it's
now
like-
what they did is, so previously the strategy was throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Now they're like, throw less stuff at the wall, but still see if that less stuff that we throw sticks. That's how
Yeah,
they
that's
changed
what
their
they're doing.
strategy.
Which is weird because if they were trying to burn a lot of this stuff, why not just burn it all and start from scratch? And they're not.
They
doing
should just
that.
start from scratch. They made their
Yes.
money. They did their stuff. We made a mistake. We didn't make a mistake. They were amazing, but those are the past. We're now looking
Yep.
ahead. But they didn't do that.
No.
They're trying to ride multiple bicycles at the same time.
which is bizarre because if they already have a background of knowing that like certain movies are working, so why not put all your apples in one basket? Like for instance, like Shazam was great. Why not put all your money into Shazam? Because you know that's going to be, everybody's going to watch that and it's going to be fun.
And they might. I mean, that's still on the table. That has been pulled. So
And we do know, though, that Shazam and Black Adam will not encounter one another because they don't want The Rock's character to be a villain as he is in the main comic storyline of Black Adam. So
Yeah.
they're making two movies of shared characters that will not connect. That's cool.
Well,
Exciting.
that's kind of like the whole having your WB TV and your WB movies. It's all just confusing.
It would
I feel
definitely be weird if you watch She-Hulk and instead of Mark Ruffalo being Hulk, you had somebody else be Hulk specifically to the Disney Plus show. It would be a weird experience.
yeah,
Yes.
it really would be.
And that's kind
what's
of what
happening.
it feels like. Yeah, it feels like that every time with WB. I feel like everything really fell apart. It was almost like the universes collided in such the wrong way during Space Jam to where now everything's
that was
falling
it.
apart. That was it. That was the catalyst. That was the big boom that
I was hoping not to
what's
hear that
his
name
name?
again. Thanks.
that Krang, what's his name? Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Yes.
What's his name?
Just drop the R.
Kratos? No,
Just
Kang.
drop the R.
Kang.
There you
Okay, Kratos. Kratos God of War. Oh, wow. What a day, man. What a week. Oh.
But yes, that is what's happening, Alex, to catch you up on some things.
Thank
More
you,
to it than that, but
Prague.
yes, that is what's happening. Burning it to the ground. But maybe before we move on, we should mention some of our socials and such.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me shake this off. It's been a while since I've done this.
Okay.
Make sure you check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. If you don't go over there, go check us out on Twitter, Instagram, I don't know, Facebook, all those at Secondary Heroes. God, it's been a long time. We've got a sponsorship with TRX and my buddy LJ. Make sure to go over to TRX Elite on Facebook and yeah, sign up. God, you know what? I'm going to edit this whole bit out. I'll do this right next time.
This is pretty fire.
This is terrible, man.
I'm loving this.
It feels like I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm like fried. I've been just working so much. Anyways, make sure to check out all of our socials. Check out TRX Elite on Facebook. Go to crossthestreamsmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail. What did you think about this dumpster fire? Anyways, all this is free for you, and it's priceless to us.
Thanks, Alex.
Awesome.
No, it wasn't awesome, but thank you for
It
saying
will
it
be
was.
once you edit it. That's why you just leave
That's
it as
true,
awesome.
you're
When
right.
you have the
Edit
jump in points.
What editing?
I might just leave it all. Oh my god. People will be like, what is wrong with him?
Well, they've been asking that for a while.
No, you were just
That's
impersonating WB. That's all. It's good.
Yeah.
Now I have to keep it all because that's good. This is good stuff.
All right, so the future of WB HBO is going to be interesting, right? So they've dropped their pricing. I believe it's far cheaper for I think a year if you like sign
I
up
think
for
it's
HBO Max.
40% off. I mean,
Which is
40% off is
a
you see it like
lot.
Nordstrom Rack or something.
Yes, it's like you're going out of business.
Yes.
Like liquidation.
They put
sale.
that
Here we
going out
go.
of business signs on the actual front.
If they're not
page. When
careful,
you go to the
like,
landing page.
I think Spirit Halloween might be opening up there soon.
Yep.
Next few months. So, careful, WB. They're looking. They're behind the bushes, like ready to come
Yeah.
in. Like I think they're gonna go out of business. Get the masks ready.
So
yeah.
I mean, so did WB? I'm guessing WB didn't even have like an appearance at Comic-Con or anything like that.
They did. They reduced.
I guess so.
They reduced their show floor presence and they just had Hall H to talk about Black Adam, which again is their pretty much only movie released through the next 4 months of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because usually they have
Okay.
that big booth on the floor where they have like all the celebrities come out and do signings and stuff. But
it's
that
usually
was
right
not
in the
there this
center
year.
too.
So not there this year. Same with DC.
They also
DC
did
was
House of
not
the
there.
Dragon, which again, that I think if you can tell if you have something.
So with House of the Dragon, though, I mean, I don't even know where I'm going with that question.
I mean, it's kind of their tentpole for HBO for the HBO side of things. Like that's
It's definitely
pretty much all
like,
they have.
Because not only are they canceling new project, they took a lot of stuff off of HBO, like
Which is
you
really
can't-
weird.
They took a bunch of old quality programming.
I
and
don't
movies
get
off of the service.
that move. Like, why would you remove stuff that would help people come to your site to pay you money to watch?
Mhm.
It's a strange business decision. Like they specifically bought Sesame Street back before the merger to save it from being canceled on PBS. They have now removed like most of the shows, most of the episodes
Really?
of Sesame Street, and almost all the kids programming has been taken off because they don't want to cater to kids anymore. So that is all gone forever, probably. Who knows? Maybe they burned it.
So HBO is pretty much going to be straight up like adult content type of stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. That they said in one of the briefs that it's going to be two different sides. They're going to have the HBO side, which is going to be, I forget the word. It was a really funny word they used. Genredome, I believe, is the word they use. A genredome, like a fandom, but instead of calling it a fandom, it's a genredome. So anything that has a genre, like fantasy, sci-fi, superhero, will be HBO Max kind of stuff, and anything else that's like your cheap, easy to make, non-quality stuff will be your Discovery content. So your reality TV stuff, the real simple, throw a camera crew in front of a house, destroy their house, rebuild it real quick, and call it a show, kind of stuff. So those are their two platforms, but it doesn't seem like the guy, I can't pronounce his last name, Zaslav, this David Zaslav guy, does not care for quality at all. So who knows how good the quality will remain to be on HBO.
Well, and that's weird because HBO is like known for its high quality
Was
programming.
That's their distinguisher of like Netflix throwing out anything they possibly can, Disney having big brands they just throw at everything, and HBO is like, well, we have high quality scripted stuff. You remember The Wire and Sopranos? We're still doing that.
Yep.
Until now.
Yep.
Well,
until now.
Yeah.
Get ready for House Hunters X-rated.
Yeah.
They should do a Gotham City House Hunters.
Really
I like the area, but there is potential problems. There's like this clown guy that I see around the neighborhood.
Bunch of
There's been
clowns running around the
explosions down
neighborhood.
block.
About once a month, we have a supervillain in the neighborhood. Don't worry. They just blow holes through the walls. It's
It'll be
okay.
fine.
You can patch it
That's
right
a quick
up.
fix, okay? That's a surface fix.
Yeah, sometimes there's a scarecrow guy that makes you hallucinate stuff. Don't worry about it. Doesn't last too long.
You
Batman
save
comes
money
in,
on
you'll be fine.
drugs.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they're doing because they apparently did hire a guy. Forget the guy's names. I didn't look it up beforehand, but they potentially hired this guy to be the DCEU's Kevin Feige, someone who would be there to make sure that everything is streamlined, to have it be cohesive and build out the future of the DCEU. The difference to me, I looked at this guy's background, and he is kind of a franchise guy, so he's good at making profitable franchises, which is good. I don't know if he necessarily cares about the quality or the creativity behind it, or nor do I think he has the passion for DC Comics like Kevin Feige has for Marvel. Like he, before he started spearheading everything, like had a deep love for the comics, and he really understood how they worked and how they were published and the order in which things happen. And that is what made it successful. So I just don't know if this guy is going to have
His name's
that.
Dan Lin.
Dan Lin. Okay. So I don't think he's going to be a Kevin Feige. I think he's there what they think is a Kevin Feige. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you'd think at some point they would figure out that they don't need a Kevin Feige and they don't need a copy. Like, you're not going to beat Marvel at their own game.
That's for sure.
You just can't do it. Marvel's
something
the
different.
best
Be
at
fun.
doing what they do right now. So come up with your own plan.
I've been enjoying the standalone universe type stuff.
I know.
Give a creator
they have
who's really
well-known
talented
characters.
just do one-offs, do whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be all interconnected.
It doesn't have
necessarily
to be connected just because Marvel connected it, because the Joker and the Batman are both really good films, and it's just stories that you tell with characters that people understand. Because
yes,
you could make the same exact story. Like, the Joker isn't a brand new story. A lot of people compare it to Taxi Driver, but people know who the Joker is, and it got butts in the seat to actually watch the film because it has that name recognition. If you called it two random words stitched together, people are like, oh, this is some art house film I'm never going to see. This is some indie art house film.
Same thing with Batman. It was basically Seven, but it had Batman.
Yeah.
So it sold.
People
really
know
well.
Batman, so just do like some story. Oh, here's a Superman movie, but it doesn't have to be connected to Batman. It doesn't have to build to Justice League. It's just a Superman movie. Because Superman's a character that people are like, oh, you can't tell that story because he's unflawed. And then you watch The Boys, and it's like, oh, you can tell a Superman story that's different.
Interesting. Yeah, they should have done that approach. They still can if they really wanted to. We'll see. As I say, every day I'm looking at the news and seeing something else happen that they've done or decided to do. So everything is up in the air. I've even heard that there were some creators that found out via Twitter that their shows were canceled. They had no idea. Wow. They start telling anybody. They're just like going through with like a red pen, just like deleting shows. I know that when Batgirl got dropped, the creators, the directors went on to go check the dailies, and they had already removed the entire film from the server. They had no access to it at all. It was gone that day.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
so
everything's happening so
a copy
fast.
locally or anything.
Nothing. Yeah, it's weird. This whole thing is
that's so mind blowing. Like, to just burn it all, just to take a $90 million hit. I mean, at least everybody got paid.
I mean, they didn't
I
get
hope.
the residuals, but yeah, they got paid.
Right. The residuals is good. Yeah, but
No,
I mean,
okay. So speaking of that, this is going to be the next section of what he is trying to do. This David guy who's taking over things at HBO. Recently, I don't know if you guys watch Hot Ones on YouTube, where they eat like spicy wings and talk
I
to
do.
celebrities.
Every now and again, yeah.
So Matt Damon was on recently, and he made a really good point about
Damon.
Matt Damon. Yes, that guy. So he made a really good point about why we don't get the films that we get nowadays. Like he really likes to spearhead like his own kind of weird independent stuff, and he is saying that studios take less risks now for movies because they're usually going straight to streaming, and before they were okay with that. If they were to like say go to the theater and not make too much money, because they could always make money back on the back end on physical sales. So if they're not making that much money off of streaming services, they're not gonna be like, I'm not going to give you money to make your stupid, independent whatever film.
That's
So what
interesting.
this guy is doing at HBO is he is kind of saying that same thing and thinking, you know what, people are no longer staying at home as much. We're not in quarantine anymore. People are going back to the theaters. Obviously, these movies are making big money now. He is going to send them these films back to the theaters, and then also put them back into streaming services right after to get that double dip. So he'll be putting them out and then months later onto streaming. That's kind of his mentality.
I mean, Warner Brothers did make that weird decision last year where they're like, oh, we're just going to have everything go to streaming and this is going to be our plan going forward. Like they're the ones who did it more than any other studio. Like Universal's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Disney's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Warner Brothers was all in, same day release and everything. And now they've pulled back on that really heavily. And so I think it's more like, I know that through analytics, you can tell the jump in signups based on certain things available on the platform. But at a certain point, you like granularly say, okay, this person signed up because of House of the Dragon. They didn't watch anything else on our platform. Did we actually get value from said user?
Mm-hmm.
Or say they signed up for House of the Dragon and then they started watching Justice League or Batman vs Superman or something, and so now they're hooked on that. So is it a value to keep making those movies? Like it depends. Like, are they getting the user from signing up for said program, or are they discovering it on the platform itself? And which one has more value as a user? Because their analytics probably show them which one has more value.
Yeah, and I know that like I think he was even quoted as saying that he doesn't really care about the people paying $15. He'd rather have the box office money. To him, it's more valuable to him. I see his point
because it's also more of an immediate kind of satisfaction type of thing. Like we released this movie, it did great, versus you could potentially have a long tail. Like Netflix did Stranger Things, and it has a long tail of signups of word of mouth, and people keep going to be talking about Stranger Things even past when it comes out, and that just takes time to build something like that. And it seems like everything that Warner Brothers and DC does is they don't care about building anything long-term that has a tail.
Yeah.
It's the immediate satisfaction. And that kind of ties into Discovery stuff where you go, it's a 5-day shoot. We go and we renovate your kitchen and we film it really quick. We have people, there's no script. Nobody's paid any type of money. And then we're in and out and we throw it up and we get immediate type of things. It's just a business strategy change.
It's a big business strategy change. Yeah.
But
yeah, man.
Do you feel like that's going to be? So that's what we're looking at for the future of the WB. Then is more low end type of stuff. Then we're not going to be seeing
for the Discovery side of things. I mean, who knows what they're going to do on HBO with the genredom.
I mean, they just might cut it down more and more to be like, to Prague's point, you have those surefire but like the entire theater industry realizes that it's either a blockbuster or nothing. They're worried about the next few months until Black Panther 2 comes out because there's really nothing on the slate to get people in the movie theaters. And if you did that, extrapolated out where they only care about tentpole releases on theater releases, you could say that they would only then care about tentpole releases on their streaming service. Because like the thing Netflix does is they'll release like 2 or 3 new things across multiple genres every single day. Like here's a new food program, here's a new reality game show, and here's a new sci-fi show. All and that's just one day. They'll just throw anything and hope that they find some new hit. But I wonder if HBO goes like, we're doing House of the Dragon. It's our tentpole release for September. And then we'll go and do another show that will be our tentpole release, because that's more of a Disney approach, or even actually an Apple TV approach.
And that might
Wow.
benefit them.
I haven't thought about Apple TV
Yeah.
in a while.
I know. I forgot
I heard
they
that
happened.
show C is on its final season.
Ah, I see.
It's like 3 seasons. I can't believe we were talking about it 3 years ago or however long.
Yeah, that was a while ago, huh?
Yeah.
That show.
Anyways, that was terrible. We all lost interest.
Is
in the
Jason
first episode.
Momoa still doing that
Yeah.
show? Is he? Oh,
Still
wow.
the lead.
Well, he'll do anything. All right. Okay then. Anyway,
It's a strategy. Maybe that's what the future of HBO is. It's just like one big tentpole release, because they're also diving. Like, I know we're talking specifically to the streaming part, but one thing that's trending really heavy is multiverses, which is essentially the Warner Brothers version of Smash Brothers. It's a video game, but they're super memifying it, where you have like Shaggy meme-ified version of it. They're talking about adding Big Chungus to the game. Like, they're all in on the meme-ified stuff, but it's trending really heavy on social media. And that goes into the quick and easy thing, because that game has no uniqueness whatsoever. It's just they're using all their characters to play Smash Brothers rather than Nintendo characters.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Quick and easy.
Boy, are we gonna get that? Are we gonna get that? Oh no. I really hope that, like, I'm actually okay, I guess, with the whole tentpole release idea if they keep up the quality. Like, they actually give a lot of money to these creators and have pick great creators with great content.
I think it's more
Sure.
knowing, or kind of almost surefire hitting, like, we'll give you money if we think you'll do well, rather than letting things prove it. They're not giving people money to kind of experiment and prove anything. So
That's
it just
true,
becomes
yeah.
very formulaic to what's successful.
Which is sad.
Because Marvel got a long leash from Disney by proving their success. They can pretty much do whatever. Disney's like, what you bring in the bucks, you can do whatever you want, guys.
Yeah, hire
But
some weird creator, sure.
Warner Brothers is not at that point, even though they've had commercial success. That's what's so interesting. Like, people will complain till they're blue in the face about these things that don't make sense or aren't connected well, or this isn't as good as Marvel, but they make bank. All their DC releases have made bank.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know what extra tier they need to hit for it to, keep
Right.
going with what they're doing.
I don't know. It is strange. I do know they do
So you-
not care for Zack Snyder's Justice League, is what I was told. So there's that.
Well, at least they have
Whatever
some
that means.
monicum of quality standard.
Oh, hot take. Hot take.
Uh,
Sorry,
so-
Alex. Yes.
No, we're not gonna see any more cross universe, not cross universes, but cross movies, cross characters. Like, we're not gonna see Superman playing with Batman anymore, or
I don't know. We don't know. I mean, if Batman's going to be an Aquaman, you have that crossover. In Aquaman 2. So you have that.
what would he be in?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they already had Michael Keaton set up. He shot all of his scenes for Batgirl. He was in that movie. That was going to be a crossover.
My
But that
God.
guy can't.
See, which doesn't make sense to me, because people loved the Spider-Man and having all of these Spider-Man characters come together from other Spider-Man universes. To have Michael Keaton as Batman come back and reprise a role as Batman, people would lose their minds. You would definitely make your money back in tenfold.
They should just make a movie with all the Batman actors just show up. There's no
Why not?
script.
Yeah, just do it.
There's no
Just show up on
storyline. They just
Sunset
show
one
up
day.
and they all wear their outfits.
Let's
Man,
go.
they would make over $1 billion. That's easy money.
Yeah.
Dude, you could, and Jack Nicholson is still around. Get Jack Nicholson to come back and reprise
Dig
his
up Adam
role
West. Yeah, exactly. It'd be fun.
too. Dig up Adam West.
Like
Weekend at Bernie's. Adam.
Yeah. Come on,
Oh,
dude. Come on. There you go, buddy. Let's go. Yes.
Oh.
That would be a lot of fun, I think.
Well, you could deep fake. I mean, they deep
true.
fake everybody now,
Deep
so
fake it. Yeah. I don't know. So what would you guys want for, like, say for example, they were to delete everything, even all the standalone stuff for DC, and start from scratch. Let's say they did want to do it the Marvel way. Start from scratch. Have that like first character, Iron Man type character be that first movie. Like how would you want it to start? Like a certain director, certain actor, certain character.
that's a tough one because I find Superman to be so boring.
Yeah.
He's always been a very boring character.
Well, you don't want
me.
to start with Superman. You want to start with. I was trying to think of an Iron Man level type, and
But like Superman is someone who DC kind of started with.
no, I'm just saying in a movie you can't start with Superman. Superman might be. I would say Batman is the most popular superhero on Earth, and I would say Superman is too. So I wouldn't start with either of them.
Yeah,
Start
so you
with
kind of have to find
like
that
a-
outlier,
like a no
like
name.
a.
Because,
Not
yeah,
Not
Iron Man,
necessarily a
people-
no name. Somebody's slightly less than Flash, but Martian Manhunter is a little too weird. But
Yeah.
that kind of tier.
Like
Yeah, it'd
Martian
be weird to
Manhunter
find.
is like Guardians of the Galaxy level.
Yeah,
Man,
it's tough.
that was a good question, Prog. Actually, hey fans, why don't you guys write into us? Let us know who you would think DC should start with.
Yeah, I'm trying to even think like maybe somebody who was in the Batman universe that predated Batman in that universe. That could be like a backstory or something.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
now
know.
this is gonna make you hear.
Sorry, I asked the question. Now I don't even know who would make a good starting point for that. I guess you could go like the Lantern Corps, do like Green Lantern maybe.
I was thinking Green Lantern, and it has such a bad connotation to it right now.
It does. So I don't know. That would be my choice, I think. Revamp that, like to start from scratch, revamp it. Maybe do that. But I think that's what they would need to do if they were to start from scratch. Is do it with a character like that. And then suddenly people
You
are like,
could
wait, what's
definitely
going on?
experiment with Green Lantern and different Green Lanterns, and do it better justice, where you're not just gonna here's a whole bunch of CGI and no really story or anything. Like
Exactly.
I feel like DC should take a note from Joker and Batman to just do a really gritty entire world, because Marvel has this really showy, over the top, all kinds of stuff's happening. You have multiverses, you have flying witch powers, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And so DC is just grounded and just have really kind of just like gritty's the word, takes on well-known characters. Like it's easier with Batman just because he doesn't have any superpowers, but you could still make a world like The Boys is very gritty, and they don't have, they have all kinds of characters at their disposal with different superpowers.
And what's really interesting too is like because when they made Man of Steel was fairly gritty, right? Like it had kind of like a more serious, gritty tone to it. But if you made everything else gritty, and then say a few movies in, or maybe a phase in, Superman shows up, and he is this completely different, totally different character. He would totally stand out, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's Superman. He is this being from another world who is a lot more positive and glowing, and has a whole different aura about him. But maybe he's not quite what he seems to be." I think that would be really interesting in this gritty world to have this out of world character show up.
Yeah.
Like, beacon of
I don't
hope.
know.
You got to build it to get to because I see your point. Like even you could have a different type of Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter story that does tie into Guardians, because when Guardians came out, it was definitely different than Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. It was
Very,
just
very much
totally
so.
different.
Yeah, it was like
So
a
you could do
whiplash.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
But
say
it
that'd be
takes
kind of
time
fun.
and patience.
It does. And it could be like this thing where they're just like, they have all these, gritty superheroes kind of finding each other and forming like a Justice League kind of thing, but they don't quite have enough to defeat these otherworldly beings that are starting to pop up. Because in the beginning, it's just the street level criminals, right? You have like the Jokers and the Riddlers and stuff. But maybe they're dealing with Darkseid or dealing with somebody else bigger than that. It's a bigger threat, and they can't really know what
And
to
then
do.
they fail.
Superman shows up. Right, they fail, right? Then Superman shows up. So,
But yeah, if they ran
be
like
interesting.
parallel
Mhm.
with the first phase of Marvel,
exactly.
you've got Thanos, Darkseid sitting
Yep.
in the background, looming over as they are fighting your Jokers and your Scarecrows and stuff.
I mean,
But
you could even what the biggest problem with DC is that Superman's OP'd. So you could do a
Yeah.
new Superman that isn't overpowered. That's what you really need to do because they're always like, oh, who'd win, Darkseid or Thanos? Well, Darkseid would win easily because they had to make him so powerful that Superman can't beat him by himself.
Yep.
That's the
Very true.
problem with the DC universe is they amped up the power level of everyone. And no matter who the director is, it's not Zack Snyder's fault. But when you have Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Superman flying and crashing through buildings and nobody has even a nick on them, they don't even have like a little piece of rubble on them, it doesn't mean anything to the audience. And that's all because Superman's so overpowered. So Superman's from another planet. He's not a god. You can ratchet him down in power because it doesn't matter. Oh, in the comics it was different.
Right.
Nobody cares about if the comics were different at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
all the
already
people
been
who watch
changed
Marvel
enough.
movies, how many people do you think actually read the comics who watched the films?
Exactly.
agreed.
Just make a movie universe. It's your universe. You can do whatever you want. You own all the rights to it. Those, like any writer says, who would win? Whoever I chose to win. You're writing the story. Superman can be as powered as you want him to be. He's not locked into some set power phase where nothing can do anything to him ever, except for an element from his home planet where whatever. That's stupid too.
Kryptonite, Krypton.
Yeah.
I mean, also there's Invincible. The Boys and Invincible show you what you can do with superhero stories that are different and don't follow the norm. The stories are out there.
Yeah, like you can easily use like what they do with Homelander and his ego is do the same thing and turn it against Superman. It's like Superman's like, oh, everyone thinks I'm so noble and I'm like this great guy, and you can easily have a villain turn that against him, have like humanity turn against him. That'd be fascinating. Then he'll be like, oh, I don't know if I should go out and try to help people.
Yeah,
might hurt
maybe
somebody.
have him little internal struggles.
Exactly.
Rather than him being good all the time. And that's the problem. Maybe that's what it is about Superman that's so boring to me is, I mean, he is overpowered. You can't defeat him. Like the whole like Batman versus Superman was the dumbest storyline. Superman could literally flick Batman even with a big mech suit that he had on, and it didn't matter. I don't know. It was just all so silly to me. So we need something more internal with Superman,
Superman,
to make him more
like,
interesting.
I know you told us specifically that you were bored by Cap, and Superman has the morals of Captain America, but he's almost the power of a god. Like he's Thor with the boringness of Captain America.
Yes. You got it. That's good.
Superman's the biggest problem with the DC universe. They need to figure out how to redo Superman because everything's contingent upon Superman. Batman being a street level guy is interesting because people like, okay, this is a rich guy. He bought tools. He learns on the job and fails multiple times to become the greatest detective, but he has to fail spectacularly to get to that point. Cool. Got that. I understand that. But Superman, there's no really relatable aspect to it.
Yeah, right. We're not living in the 40s where
like
we
I
all
almost
want
wonder
to achieve to be good.
Like, I almost wonder if like they change some of his origin as well. Like is it still gonna hit as hard today if he's a farm boy? You know, born and raised.
And
It's
yeah, he
nice.
needs that farm boy story. Like literally, the dad is the one that gives him his morals. You know, it's
Right.
not he's not born with those morals. It's not a Kryptonian thing to believe. It's literally just learning on Earth right here. He learns all those experiences.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm more
So
talking
just have
about like
him raised
the
somewhere
cultural.
else.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
culturalness is what I'm getting at. Yeah, have him raised somewhere else. Change that origin.
Have him land.
Change his
Have
skin
him land
tone.
in Oakland.
Oh, why not?
Have him land anywhere that isn't a
He
cornfield.
comes out with a Raiders hat and
Well, that's more interesting than what we get. So yes,
yeah.
I'm all for it. Not the Raiders part though.
Well, you could just have different, like, you could also, you know how there's a spider in every universe. There's always different Spider-Man. They're always different.
Right. Yep.
Maybe we need a different Superman, a Miles Morales type of Superman.
We really do.
Or, you know,
we really do. I mean, he can even be like straight up an alien, like, and look totally different. How he looks like a human is really weird to me. Always has been.
yeah,
So.
that's fair.
Anyways, that was my idea. Change him up a little bit. So
Change up Superman.
I don't know what
Instead,
the future's going to be
maybe-
for them.
I still like Superman hosting some kind of renovation show or cooking show.
Okay.
Like he
Him as
uses his
Clark
laser
Kent.
eyes and he heats up the
Yeah.
food, or he accidentally fell into these people's house and now he has to renovate it. He's like, "Oh, I crushed your
Oh,
kitchen.
yes.
Don't worry, I'm gonna come in, fix it up." And he moves super fast, so he does it really quick. Like they can do
That's
that
great.
shooting really quick. It takes him like 5 minutes. Boom, rebuilt your house.
Move that bus.
Like, why do all of his homes look like Kansas barn style? I don't get this. It's very interesting. The decor in every house. Oh, why does it say Martha on our wall? What's going on here?
Why'd you say that name?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Live, laugh, Martha? What? Decorated this house. That's Superman. That cow.
No, but I know that you guys have been saying that like Batman is the most popular character ever. I've started to even find Batman to be kind of boring. I feel like we've kind of seen that story in so many different angles at this point. I am ready to see something new. Like I am ready to see like a Martian Manhunter or something like that to change up DC, change up. And I think maybe that's why Shazam was so interesting, because of having the little kid turn into a superhero is pretty cool. You know, because every little kid wants to imagine that they're a superhero. So yeah, I could see the popularity in something like that.
Well, the problem
we
is
don't-
they haven't gotten to that point. Like they keep resetting all the time. They
Right,
keep resetting and
exactly.
resetting. So you never get to the point till you get to those real weird outlier characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
you. I feel you. It would be nice to get to more of those characters.
But
At some point.
but at the same time, on my other screen here, I just pulled up a list of DC characters,
Mhm.
and it looked like a bunch of like really bizarre stuff
Oh yeah.
that I don't know if I would even want to see on screen. And then it was all the
Why not?
normals, like the Wonder Woman's, Aquaman.
Normals. Yeah.
Well, it is. Those
I
are
know,
all.
I know.
I mean, every DC incorporates those characters every time.
Right.
So it's kind of like, to me, DC is, yeah, it's not very fun anymore. Give me the
I don't know.
1990 Batman or 1989 Batman again. That was fun.
No, too bad. They already deleted that footage.
Really? No. I gotta go get me a VHS.
No, I meant the footage of him reprising his role.
Oh
And
yeah, that.
Batgirl. Yeah, that's gone. Sorry, Trevor. What were you gonna say?
No, it's just like DC. We've talked about DC and they're I don't know. But when you look at Warner Brothers beyond DC, just on what HBO has to offer, a lot of their like big things, they don't really have. Like there's a reason they did a Harry Potter reunion. There's a reason they did a Friends reunion. Some of their
Yeah.
biggest things they don't have a future for.
No,
They
they're all
don't
like,
have,
here, remember
like,
the
a-
past?
Yeah, they don't have this is the next installment of this series. Like they have big properties that aren't necessarily doing anything at the moment.
Right.
And so
Wow.
that's tough because I remember like when HBO first launched, they had Lord of the Rings. They had all 3 Lord of the Rings films. It's a big deal that they still do. But the next Lord of the Rings isn't on HBO. Amazon paid way too much for the property, and that's like a future property that they had that they've lost it. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what future properties they have. Like they have House of the Dragon. Cool, we got Game of Thrones. Now what?
Now what? Yeah. What are we gonna do?
And that's
You
only
got to
supposed to
offer
be 10
more
episodes,
than
right?
you got to offer more than a prequel series to Game of Thrones. I don't know what else they have in the pipe. It's not like, they're going to have this new Star Wars TV show and new Marvel TV show, and then there's new Marvel movies. And of course, there's new Disney animated films and Pixar films and all that. Or Netflix is building very slowly, but they're building actual awareness brands. Like they have new seasons of shows that have hit.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
if
in
HBO
trouble.
has that.
That's why they're 40% off right now.
So if I was to cancel my HBO right now, could I just re-up at 40% off? Like what's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just use
I mean, it's a
different
month to
email
month right
addresses.
now, but you have to pay a full year in advance to get that
Yeah.
40%
Oh.
off. You can't do it just month by month.
Yeah, because right now
So-
it's that $15 a month pretty heavy duty.
Especially when you spread it out between like 500 different streaming services like I do right now.
You're telling me.
I mean,
man.
what's really interesting is also, I was thinking of their future stuff. They have King Kong versus Godzilla 2, where now they're going to link up.
If that's still
And-
happening, yeah.
No, that they like their monster universe, even though
I
it's
know.
horribly bad. Almost every film, like the first Godzilla is the best, and they've got proceedingly worse for everything that they've done.
Mhm.
But what's weird about that is that King Kong is public domain. There's going to
Oh,
be
sure,
a
you mentioned
King
this
Kong
before, yeah.
show on Apple TV. There's a new King Kong series on Netflix, and then I think there's a King Kong new movie for Prime, and then there's the King Kong versus Godzilla 2 on HBO.
Hmm.
So one of their big things is public domain. It's not even something they have sole access to.
These guys. Whew.
What?
It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, Warner
And actually,
Brothers.
I think that Harry Potter movies are on Peacock also right now.
Oh, there you
So
go.
that's not even exclusive to them either. They're having a tough
Huh.
time. I think they need to just stick with Batman and Superman doing House Hunters and Food Network shows. That's, I think, the only path forward. I'm all in on watching those.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they lost $20 billion. So,
Well, that was just a market
Yeah.
valuation.
yeah, but still.
Just
That's
just
a chunk of
remake
change.
Friends with the Gen Zs. Yo, fam, that's lit AF.
Yeah, that doesn't always work out too well, unfortunately. So, they'll be fine on that side. I think Discovery will be just fine. But I just don't think that those of us that crave the old HBO shows that were really well made, like Sopranos, The Wire, stuff like that, Leftovers, we're not going to get those kind of programs out of them anymore.
Well,
Writing.
I mean, but think
Writing,
about
yeah,
that
we're not
too.
going to have good
I
writing.
mean, what was Breaking Bad on?
AMC.
Wasn't that like AMC, and then FX has a lot of like high end writing stuff on a
Mhm.
lot of their shows too. I mean,
But that's
back in
cable.
the
That's
day-
not streaming services.
right? But back in the day, back when HBO had a lot of these really high end writing and high end production, I mean, there wasn't much to compare to.
Sure.
Now it's like everybody's got good writing, and they're throwing money at a lot of different people.
Yeah.
A lot of independent people to try and
You
make
know,
these bigger
this is
stuff.
definitely the golden age of TV just because a lot of writers who haven't normally gotten their stuff forward, there's so many avenues to pitch your show to now.
for
Yep.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess
And different ways to promote it.
yeah, and just that kind of hurts HBO's kind of competitive advantage. So it's well written, but is it leagues above everything else. To Alex's point, it used to be leagues above everything else. HBO was a distinct competitive advantage, but now that everyone's doing it,
Right.
maybe they don't feel like it's worth the investment. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you guys, your writer wants that much. I don't think it's worth it. I can do a okay show for way less.
Yeah.
And make
That's
the
what they're
same
thinking.
amount of money.
Yeah.
If not more.
We'll see if it pays off, but I think that's definitely their strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what happens here, HBO.
I'm not. But it'll be interesting. Not excited, but I'm interested
Cool.
to see what they do. It's going to be a while before this all course corrects itself, but in the meantime.
And then at some point, Discovery will give up and Disney will buy it. And then we'll finally have the crossover where DC enters the Marvel universe, and then we're done.
Via House Hunters. They're chipping. I always call it Chip and Dale. Chip and whatever her name is.
Do you guys like legitimately think like within the next, let's just say 20 years, we could possibly see that type of crossover?
Oh yeah, for sure. Within 20 years, for sure.
Oh, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put money down on that.
Yeah.
It's just so fascinating. Will we be doing this in 20 years?
Oh, Disney will buy Warner Brothers within the next 10. That's my guess.
My god. Imagining doing this when we're 60. Talking about, hey, remember 20 years ago when we were talking about DC and what they were going to do?
God help us.
Oh my god.
Maybe Disney will acquire us.
Hey, that'd be great. Thanks.
I'll take it.
$20.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, until then, everyone, we hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you next time.
Frog out.
Adios, y'all.